Speaking of the Bulldogs, a man who won the Sugar Bowl, gave BYU plenty of heartache in 2008, and is now the quarterbacks coach at Mississippi State. Brian Johnson joins us on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Brian, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. It's we should start with this. Are you used to the sound of a cowbell in Starkville?
Oh, absolutely. It's an unbelievable tradition. When I first got here, you heard about it and you would hear it on TV, but I tell you, in person, there's absolutely nothing like it. It's an amazing environment and atmosphere to hear those cowbells in Davis Wade Stadium.
There's lots to discuss with this game, so let's get right into it. You know Kalani Sitake really well. He was one of the coaches on the staff. You were a fellow coach with him. What's your relationship like with Coach Sitake?
Well, Kalani has always been like a big brother to me. We're extremely close. I've always looked up to him. He's done a great job. I'm extremely proud of him and happy for what he's been able to do throughout his career. Like I said, I've known him for a really long time, since I was about 17 or 18 years old. So he's watched me grow up, and he's a guy that I'm extremely close to.
Brian Johnson, the quarterbacks coach at Mississippi State, with us on BYU Sports Nation. Is there anything you can tell us about Kalani that we can use against him as leverage, or something to tease him about?
Well, I did see him try to dance in the locker room the other day. No, he's pretty good. Kalani's awesome. He's getting up there now. I think he had his birthday the other day, so you can tell he ain't getting any younger.
I think he turned 28, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What will it be like for you to come back, not only west, but specifically at the arch rival BYU's LaVell Edwards Stadium, but this time as a coach?
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I've had the opportunity to both play and coach in that stadium on numerous occasions. So it'll be very, very familiar for me. Obviously, for our team, I don't know if many of our kids have traveled past Texas, so this will be a new and exciting road trip for them. I'm sure none of them have been around the mountains before, and it'll be interesting for them to get a chance to experience that.
I'm sure you've watched the film on BYU and especially the BYU Utah game. Just maybe I am wrong in that, but from what you have seen in that game and the Cougars' first 6 games, what have you learned about BYU and what do you want to do against BYU in Provo?
Well, you can see that they're obviously a really well coached team. They play hard. They're physical. They're disciplined. And they play with great passion and energy. I mean, I think it's a true reflection of Kalani and his personality on the defensive side of the football. And our guys will be ready for the challenge. We're looking forward to a great game in a big-time atmosphere and with a lot of people watching. So we have a great opportunity to go out there and play on the national stage in front of millions of people and go and play well.
Let's talk about your quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald. He's shown he can be dynamic, ran for 195 against South Carolina, school record, and he's only one of 3 QBs that has a game with 300 pass and 100 rush. I believe that was UMass. What is he capable of doing?
Well, like I said, he's definite big play capability. He's a great runner. He's still a young player trying to develop at the position. But he has a ton of potential, and we see him taking steps and getting better each and every week. So this will be a new challenge for him to go and play on the road in a hostile environment and try to come away with a win.
Brian Johnson, quarterbacks coach at Mississippi State, with us on BYU Sports Nation. If you had one bit of advice to give to this team about what it's like to play in Provo, Utah, and the atmosphere they should expect, what would it be?
Well, just to be ready for a physical ball game. BYU has always been a team that's been known for playing extremely hard and playing extremely physical. And our guys have to match that physicality on both lines of scrimmage and throughout the course of the game. I would say that would be, my one piece of advice. But each game is different. Each game kind of takes on its own personality, but I would expect this to be a very, very physical game on the line of scrimmage.
The team, BYU specifically, that you played against and coached against at Utah was under a different staff led by Bronco Mendenhall. What differences do you notice with this staff under Kalani Sitake on the field?
Well, I think just basic defensive philosophy and structure is obviously different. You see a little bit more aggressiveness scheme-wise than obviously than what I faced back in college. But some of the traits like you see are exactly the same. It's just a disciplined football team that plays hard, runs to the ball, and doesn't make a ton of mistakes and giving up easy big plays. So it's definitely gonna make you work for what you get on offense.
Brian, give us an idea of the sense of urgency and opportunity that is this week, as you mentioned, live on ESPN. This isn't the start that you guys were hoping for this season, yet you have an opportunity now to kind of get on a bigger stage and prove yourself.
Yeah, and having a young football team is just understanding the strain and the urgency it takes to win in college football. And that's something that, continues to improve each and every week. We have to come out there and be ready to play at an extremely high level, right? And that's the challenge each and every week for teams all around the country. As you kind of watch, you go through and watch college football on any particular Saturday, you see games that are completely opposite of how you initially thought they would play out. And that's the challenge of keeping that inner scoreboard and playing with the passion and desire that's necessary to be successful each and every week.
Follow him at BDJohnson3 on the Twitter machine. Brian Johnson, quarterbacks coach at Mississippi State on BYU Sports Nation. Continuing along what we're just talking about, Brian, Kalani Sitake said that because of the adversity that Mississippi State has faced early in the season, that makes a team like that dangerous. And he would know because BYU was 1-3. Ask Michigan State how they feel about BYU being a dangerous team. Do you consider your team dangerous right now because of the mentality you're bringing into this game?
Yeah, I think playing with a desperate sense of urgency to go out there and play your best each and every play is critical. And like I said, and we've had some very, very close calls this year, losing at LSU by 3 points and then missing, and then not playing well in our first game and losing that game by 1 point. So, I think having our team understand, the effort and strain it takes to finish a college football game and win is extremely critical. And I think sometimes those are the best ways to learn those lessons. And hopefully we can take that with us and kind of draw it from our memory bank as we move forward throughout the season.
The matchup against BYU secondary is an interesting one, Brian, because BYU has the nation's worst defensive completion percentage. So quarterbacks are completing 69.8 against BYU, yet the Cougars are fourth in the country with 10 interceptions. What do you notice from this BYU secondary?
Well, they're always in position to make plays, and that's why you see they have a ton of interceptions that they're around the ball. And they do a great job disguising coverages and getting in different looks. And, it'll be an interesting challenge because, since you bring up that statics, people throw, you'll see a lot of those completions are behind the line of scrimmage or against very, very soft coverage. But they're not giving up a ton of big plays down the field. So I think it's a little bit of give and take in that regard.
Brian, it's been great to talk to you. We'll make sure and give Kalani a hard time about those dance moves that you saw. And if you feel like showing him up in Provo, you're welcome to do that as well.
Oh, no doubt. He's done a good job. I couldn't be prouder of him. I'm excited to see him get that opportunity.
And I know he's excited to have you and Dan Mullen, a couple of guys that he's worked closely with in the past in Provo. Great stuff, Brian. Thanks so much.
Thank you.